All right, let's talk about something every single creator, every marketing team feels deep in their bones. That relentless pressure for more content. It's this cycle of burnout and just pure chaos, right? But here's the thing. Behind every great content team, there's a great operating process. And today, we're going to break down how you can build that machine.
So let's just get right to it with a really tough question from creator Matt Gray. Is your entire content strategy, is it built on a house of cards? Is it super rickety, totally reliant on you, and always feels like it's just one gust of wind away from collapsing? I mean, if you've ever ended the week just thinking, I don't know if I can do this again, then you know exactly what this feels like.
And you know what? That feeling, it actually has a name. It's the content treadmill. We've all been there. It's that constant state of just running and running and running just to keep up, a lot of the time without any clear direction or system. So let's really diagnose the symptoms here.
I mean, look at this quote from Matt Gray. It absolutely nails the core issue. So many CEOs are stuck in firefighting meetings and just dealing with the problem of the day. Think about that. Instead of building for the future, leaders are just trapped in the present moment, running around putting out fires. It's a totally reactive cycle, and it makes it pretty much impossible to scale or, to actually get better.
And look, this isn't just a hunch or a feeling. It is a full-blown, measurable crisis. The data is shocking. A staggering 86% of team leaders say their workload is causing stress for their team. That whole firefighting mode we just talked about, it has a very, very real human cost.
So, does this picture look familiar? Yeah, if you're looking at this and feeling that sense of being completely overwhelmed by all the moving parts, you really need to know you are not alone. This is an incredibly common problem. The pressure to produce faster and at a higher quality than ever before, it's pushing creative teams to their absolute breaking point. Okay, so this is the crucial turning point. A massive mindset shift is needed. On one side, you've got the old CEO who's running that house of cards, reactive, inefficient, totally dependent on manual effort. But then, you've got the content CEO, and they think completely differently. They're all about building systems, focusing on distribution, and creating leverage. They're building a stable, scalable content engine.
And this right here, this visualizes that operational drag perfectly. Leaders are spending on average 13 hours a week on manual tasks. That's more than a full workday completely wasted every single week. And at the same time, almost half of them don't even have the timely data they need to make good decisions. It's a vicious cycle of inefficiency.
All right. Enough doom and gloom about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. It's time to get off that treadmill for good and actually start building your content machine.
So the official name for this machine we're talking about is content operations, or you'll hear it called content ops. And really all it is the practice of wrangling all the pieces, the processes, the technologies, the people that drive the entire content lifecycle. We're talking from planning and creation all the way to analysis. This is the foundation for world-class content, period.
And check this out. This is a perfect illustration of what that machine actually looks like. It's not a straight line, it's a connected loop. See, you've got this seamless project intake over here, which flows right into planning and figuring out your resources. That leads to a unified calendar and distribution plan, which then gives you performance insights. And those insights feed right back into your asset management and your future planning. Every single gear turns the next one. It's beautiful, right?
Okay, so how do we actually build this thing? Well, the whole process rests on 3 core pillars. Let's start with the first one, which is honestly the most important one. It's the foundation of the entire machine. This is it, the non-negotiable. You must establish a single source of truth. I'm talking about one central, reliable, and accessible hub for all of your team's information. Calendars, assets, performance data, everything. Without this one thing, I promise you, everything else will just fall apart.
And if you're wondering why that's so critical, well, here you go. Right now, almost half, 49% of leaders say their data is duplicated across a mess of different documents and apps. And on average, a team's data is duplicated by 34%. This creates this painful, endless game of telephone where nobody knows which information is actually correct. And that just leads to mistakes and so much wasted time.
So how do you protect this foundation? It really comes down to a few key practices. First, be strict about who can edit the core information. That helps avoid simple mistakes. Next, use automation for all the annoying stuff, like project status reminders.
And finally, create custom, filtered views for people, so they only see what's actually relevant to them. It just cuts out all the noise. Okay, let's build on that. Time for our second pillar. Once you have that stable foundation, it's time to amplify your output. This is all about getting way more leverage from every single thing you create.
And the mantra here is simple. Automate ruthlessly and repurpose everything. Remember those 13 hours a week we talked about, wasted on manual tasks? Automation is how you claw that time back. And repurposing, that ensures the time you do spend creating has the biggest possible impact across every single one of your channels.
This right here is Matt Gray's content waterfall system, and it is a perfect example of amplification in action. So you start with one big pillar piece of content, right? Like a long-form YouTube video. Then, from that one single asset, you intelligently slice it up into, get this, 3 Instagram Reels, 3 TikToks, 3 YouTube Shorts, a bunch of LinkedIn posts, a few X threads, and even a whole newsletter. One effort for 26+ pieces of content. That is leverage.
And all of that brings us to our third and final pillar, the growth loop. This is the magic part. This is where the machine becomes self-sustaining and really starts to generate its own momentum.
And the whole mindset for this pillar is just captured so perfectly in this quote. He says, "I'm going to do this thing 100 times that I'm proud of." You got to forget the vanity metrics, at least at first. Forget subscribers, forget followers. The goal is consistency and quality. You just commit to getting the reps in. 100 newsletters you're proud of, 100 videos you're proud of. If you do that, the score will take care of itself.
And that commitment to quality, that's what builds what Matt Gray calls the authority flywheel. Think about it. Consistently great content builds attention. That attention generates leads. Those leads turn into cash flow, and then, and this is the key, that cash flow gets reinvested right back into making even better content. The flywheel just starts to spin faster and faster, all on its own.
But how do you know where to reinvest that cash? What's the smart move? This is where we connect everything back to our foundation. You fuel the flywheel with what we'll call always-on insights. By pulling all your performance data into that single source of truth, you can see, clear as day, what's actually resonating with your audience. That data tells you exactly what content to double down on to make that flywheel spin even faster.
So, after all of this, what's the big takeaway? What's the one thing you need to remember? It's a fundamental, game-changing shift in mindset. You have to accept that today, every single business is a media company.
Let's just let that sink in for a second. Content isn't some extra thing on your to-do list. It's not a nice to have. It is an essential, foundational part of how you build trust, how you build an audience, and ultimately, how you build your entire business in today's world.
So there you have it. You now have the blueprint for the machine. It's built on a rock-solid foundation, it's amplified by smart systems, and it's powered by a self-sustaining growth loop. That machine is just waiting for you to build it. So the only question left is, what's the very first gear you're going to put in place?